Today we're going to be working on my bottom bracket, just kind of taking it off and making sure there's no cracks or anything that is obvious to cause squeaking. I've just went over about 3,000 miles on Zwift, and I figure it's time to take a closer look at the bottom bracket because it is making quite a ruckus. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Okay, real fast, this is some of the tools you're going to need. You can see them. I don't have to lay them out here and tell you what each one's about, but this is a bottom bracket removal tool, which a lot of people may not know what that is. And then this is a crank, as well as this is a crank removal tool. This here, though, that is my secret weapon, and that's what the video is about today. Let's get started. To remove the cranks, you're going to have to take this Allen bolt out. I've already loosened it, so it made it easier for this, but you're going to use a tool like this to be able to break it free. And remember what direction things go on the cranks. Sometimes you got counterclockwise and clockwise, and I'll kind of point that out as we go. Once you remove this, though, you still are not going to be able to get this off. It's on there, right? So what you got to do is get a puller. Now here's where the secret weapon comes into play. So when you're using a tool like this, it's just not going to be long enough in your mind, but the reality is that little piece right there is not going to seat in here. So this end right here where my thumb is not going to actually make it in there. So I'm going to try to hold this and show you what this special little piece is for. So you can see in here, that is not going to actually work because it's just going to keep going all the way through. The hole in the back is too big for it. So that's where this little guy comes in. So I can just slide this in there, and I made this just like that. It's kind of hard holding the camera, holding the light, and doing this at the same time. So the reason why I went that way and then this way is to make sure that I don't cross thread. These things are very, very touchy. One slight little move and all of a sudden it's cross-threaded and then it's screwed up. So you're going to want to make sure this is all the way down. So I'm going to try to make it go all the way down one-handed here. So the goal is to make sure you get enough threads in there that it's not going to cause problem. You saw how easy that was, right? If you look here, you'll see that it's already kind of out. I've already taken this off and redone it, so that's why it was so simple. But with that being said, this will be hard at times, and you're going to need a bigger tool for the job, and that's where this bad boy comes in. Know that your chain is going to also separate when you take it the rest of the way off. It'll be under a little tension, but that's all right. There you go. I didn't mean to do that, but as you can see, the tool does no damage. All it is a piece of metal that I cut down to make it fit inside of there. And the reason for that is I just didn't have the right tool for the job. Now, there are tools out there that will fit this bottom bracket with these cranks. However, I didn't have it at the time, so, well, this is what I had to do to take them off. And like I said, I'd already taken these off, so that's why they were so much easier to take apart. Trust me when I say that this is not a a simple task, but it's easy enough that anybody can do it. So now that you have the cranks off, then it's time to remove the bottom bracket, and that's where this comes in, as well as this. You don't want to start on this side because the threads are actually a part of the housing assembly. You want to take it off from this side. Now these are going to be extremely tight when they come on, and sometimes this side can be made of plastic, so you got to be aware of that too. This one is going to go in this direction, right? And so that is counterclockwise, and that's how you're going to get this side off. So once you take this side off, be careful for burrs as well. You could get burrs on these, and this is very thin metal. I'll bring it up close to you so you can see it. See how thin that is? So then now on this side, did you see that? If I'm going counterclockwise, it's going to actually tighten it. What I was talking about earlier about counterclockwise and clockwise threads, this side is clockwise. By the way, I don't claim to be a mechanic. I'm just a garage hack at best. But I take care of all my own bikes. I've built them up. You've seen in the past. I've actually taken a Gary Fisher, repainted it, and rebuilt it, and since got rid of that one. And I've still got my Le Mans, and I got my Gary Fisher hanging up here, and I got a new Poseidon gravel bike. So I'm very excited about riding that. But like I said, this side is your drive side, and it is always going to be, at least from all the old bikes that I ride, it's always going to be on the drive side. The threading, that is. So in this case, this one here is a FSA, but it is a 68 millimeter 1.37 by 24T. So that's an English edition, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look it up. Maybe I'll put it in below the video here. So what you're looking for in this aspect is you're looking at your seal here, making sure that it's nice. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's sounding a little bit grindy, so it might be getting close to needing a new one. However, it's still really good. There's no play in it at all, but it does have about 3,000 miles on it, and from what I've read a lot of, these things should be replaced about every 3,000 or 4,000 miles, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's grease this thing up and get it all back together. As you can tell, I've already kind of greased it, but anyway. As you can see, it is in good shape, so I'm just putting it in as is, but I want to make sure that I get enough grease on the housing as possible, just to have a nice coat on it. Remember, this one's going to be the opposite now. So you don't want to strip those threads or cross thread it. See right there, I would actually cross thread. Did you see how it just clicked in there? I don't know if I could show you that, but see how smooth that is? It needs to be that smooth all the way in. Don't force it. If you start to feel it get really tight, don't force it. Just kind of work it through. You might be cross-threading. I'll go back and torque here shortly. But anyway. Then the other one, you can see I've already got it quite coated, but I'm going to coat the inside. It looks like I didn't do that earlier. Again, be mindful of the cross threading. And sometimes on this side, it might have a few burrs in it that cause it to get a little sticky. This one is getting a little bit sticky. However, it's still in good shape. So it's just taking a little bit more to put this one on, but you can see I can still do it with my hand. That's how you want to do it all the way down to the bottom. Once it bottoms out like that. And I'm just going to put a little torque on it with just the wrench before I break out the torque wrench. I didn't show that in the earlier part of the video on parts that are, or I mean on the tools section, but anyway. So Park Tool has a really great article on all the different torques. So you can see it in Newton meters there, and mine is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and torque these down to, it looks like 39.2 to 49 newtons. 49 Newton meter is about 36 foot-pounds, so I've got it set at 36 foot-pounds. Oops. All right, so I loosen this one up just so I make sure I get it right. Remember, this one's the opposite direction, so I better loosen that up. All right, now we'll torque it down. There you have it. You don't want to torque them down too much and then end up cracking the frame. So there you go. Okay, so I've already lubed the cranks, and so you're going to want to put these back on. Now remember, don't put them both the same way. Anywho, I know people that have done it that way, so there we go. All right, so once you get this back down, you can just put the crank bolt back on, spin her down. This also has to be torqued, and so just remember that head over to Park Tool's website, and they have every torque on a bike you can think of. They've got the specifications for it, so really cool site. I love watching them too. That's probably how I learned a lot of my mechanics early in the day, is just watching mechanics at bike shops and actually trying to help them out when I was really young. I was never an actual mechanic though. All right. At least not on bicycles. All right, so I went ahead and took the liberty of torquing these down. It's like I said, they're pretty simple, and everything needs to be torqued. So if you're having any kind of squeaks whatsoever, could be the bottom bracket, could be just the tightness of your seat post, could be anything in this ballpark right here. So you just troubleshoot it. That's it for this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Squeak's fixed.